From Las Vegas, it's Dry Heat with Mike Davis.
All right, everybody, Mike Davis here in the den at FOX5 Studios. I'm joined by one of my personal, this is a guy I admire, a personal hero, a guy that my dad got me into at a very young age. You might know him from a multitude of different various reasons, from Bulletproof Coffee. He's the father of biohacking. This guy has really made a strong imprint on our life and improving our existence here on planet Earth. He's one of the greatest entrepreneurs I really think on the face of the earth. It's the great Dave Asprey. Dave, four-time New York Times bestseller. You've done a little bit of everything. I'm an OG from Bulletproof Radio. You got the Human Upgrade podcast now, so it's a pleasure to have you here in the flesh, in person, inside the den.
Mike, well, that's quite an intro. Thanks.
No, I'm excited to talk to you. Listen, we're going to be getting some tangible advice that we're going to be able to utilize and implement into our life for the holiday season. Some biohacking tips for travel, for spending time with family during Christmas, Hanukkah, all that good stuff. But your story is so fascinating. I think I want to start from the beginning because, you know, you're growing up in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yep. You're
a super fit guy right now. You got, you know, you're almost like a cyborg in terms of how much you got going on for yourself. You want to live to 180.
At least. Let's put a cap on it.
But if we saw pictures of you, if we knew you back when you were growing up, persistent strep throat, arthritis in both of your knees.
At age 14.
Obese. Yep. I mean, so many different things going on. Tell me a little bit about, you know, this journey and what your life was on a day-to-day basis, because your parents were scientists. They impressed upon you an interest in experimenting and doing all these great things, but you were such a different human being, but you had a special internal makeup. It's kind of like a superhero origin story.
Yeah, including the vampire bat that bit me. That was So I hit 300 pounds when I was 23 years old, and I was obese as a teenager. I had all these health problems as a kid. Asthma. I had ODD, which is oppositional defiant disorder.
Okay, I don't even know what that
is. It's actually a clinical thing. It makes you a good entrepreneur, but that Rage Against the Machine song,
yes.
You know, F you, I won't do what you told me, that just runs in your head constantly, and it controls your actions. And I had OCD and ADHD and Asperger's syndrome. So I had a brain and a biology that really didn't work because I was dealing with constant neuroinflammation and autoimmune issues. But we didn't know what it was. This was the 80s. Like, who the heck? So I was living in a basement that was full of toxic mold, which we didn't know was a problem back then. And that was the probable thing that caused it, probably some genetics. And I'm pretty smart, but I have no social skills. So I'm at the top of my class, but I have like this is the stack of papers from my misbehaviors. I'm like, what's the problem? I'm getting straight A's. Like, you got a problem? So I was kind of an angry, but also neurologically dysfunctional, immune dysfunctional guy. And I just thought it was supposed to hurt all the time because my back hurt all the time. My knees hurt. It was just, everyone hurts when they walk or when they play soccer. By the time I'm 23, I've had 3 knee surgeries. I've just had this crazy stuff going on with my brain where I'm trying to pay attention to things and it doesn't really work. And I went to the doctor. I'm like, something's wrong. And he says, maybe you should try to lose weight. And I'm going, yeah, no kidding, right? And by the way, you're fat too. And what do you think I should do? You should try to eat healthy and exercise. I go, hey man, let me show you what I've done. 90 minutes a day, half weights, half cardio. I can max out all but 2 machines, and my cardio is at a 15-degree incline with a weighted backpack. So I do this, and I'm on a semi-vegetarian, low-fat diet, and I haven't lost a pound in 18 months of this. So I beat myself up for 702 hours in the gym with no results other than strength, but no weight loss, no fat loss. And I thought it must be a moral failing from not trying hard enough. And then I sit down at Carl's Jr. with all my friends. Okay. I'm ordering the chicken salad with no dressing because calories, no chicken because calories. You know, I'm ravenously hungry all the time. And I look around at my friends with their double Western bacon cheeseburgers and like, I work out more than all my friends combined and I eat less than any of them and I'm the biggest guy at the table. Maybe what I'm doing isn't working.
Yeah.
And that was one of my wake up calls. And little while later, I learned how to lose 50 pounds. Losing half the weight, I had 100 pounds to lose. Losing half the weight is relatively easy for anyone who's obese. The other half took me 15 years of really understanding biology. So you remember that movie Jurassic Park, the first one?
Of course.
The fat computer hacker? I was a computer hacker in Silicon Valley. I just was working for the good guys. But this was kind of my life. And I'm thinking, how do I get control of my own biology? Because my doctor isn't going to be able to help me. I've asked, I've tried. So I just started doing the research, and I figured what I do during the day is I'm figuring out how to manipulate systems that I don't really know what's inside them. Oh, that's me. How do I manipulate my body? And I made this commitment. I'm only going to do what works. That means I have to measure it. Because what I did before is I had a religious belief. If I work out more and eat less calories, I'll lose weight. It is nonsense. Biology does not work that way. But I thought it did. So it caused me to do things that didn't work and then feel like I was a failure. And what I've done today is I started the biohacking movement. I've helped people lose millions of pounds of weight without ever being hungry one time. And my newest thing is called Upgrade Labs. This is a human AI-powered longevity center. And you come in and we say, hey, what matters to you? Did you want to put on muscle? Did you want to lose fat? Did you want to get smarter? Did you want to manage stress better? Mm-hmm. Did you want to live longer? These are different goals and they're fundamentally different. Well, once we know where you want to go, then we measure with clinical grade stuff, where are you today? And now we have a plan. And then we use our AI and our team to help you know which of the different types of tech we have to get results in almost no time.
I can't wait for this. I can't wait till it's here in Las Vegas. I mean, it's such an exciting concept, but I think the fact that you're asking these questions, you're curious, you're engaging. I mean, it's a perfect storm of situations here because to me as a young kid, it is sad to reflect back on your childhood and your young adult life. But what's so fascinating is at such a young age, you have $6 million in the bank. You're selling the first, technically, I mean, I want to get a couple things straight, but you're at Wharton, you're getting a master's, pursuing that kind of stuff. You're a successful human being. You're grinding. You're doing what is kind of indoctrinated into us is that you got to grind. You got to work hard in your 20s. You're succeeding at an incredible rate, but you must have been super unhappy and unfulfilled at the same time. And I think it takes so much courage to be doing so much incredible, fascinating, high-level stuff, but then at the same time to think, I can be better. I can self-improve. So for you to feel...
I didn't start out wanting to be better. I started out wanting to be good enough because I'm like, okay, I'm miserable all the time. So I tried, getting married way too early in my 20s for a brief period. I made and lost $6 million before I'm 30. So wealth didn't do it. I was in Entrepreneur Magazine when I was 23 for the first product ever sold over the internet before e-commerce had a name. By the way, it's a T-shirt that says caffeine is my drug of choice. Yeah, I have that tattoo on my bicep. So I'm like...
And this is the intraweb. This is before the internet.
Even. Yeah, before a browser had been invented yet. So I'm doing all this stuff and none of it made me happy. And I'm thinking, man, all this stuff that's supposed to work. But I also bought disability insurance. Because I was thinking, I don't know if I can keep doing this because my brain is so bad. I don't remember half the stuff happening in my meetings. And when I started going to Wharton, I was failing out of my classes. So finally I said, I got to get help. So I found this guy named Dr. Daniel Amen, who I'm on his board of directors now. He's a dear friend. And he had written his first book about what's really going on in your brain. And I went to one of his clinics and I walk in the door. The doctor looks at me and goes, oh, tech bro wants Adderall. I've seen this before, but he orders me a scan, kind of blows me off. And I come back and he just looks at me and he goes, Dave, inside your brain is total chaos. You have the best camouflage I've ever seen. I don't even know how you're standing here in front of me. So what was going on is I have the pedal all the way to the floor all the time and my car is slowing down and there's no way I can push harder. And there are so many people listening right now. They're faking it. We don't show it. Because showing it's just a sign of weakness, you probably won't get the next promotion, won't get the next raise. So you just do your best and you grind it out. And there's a feeling of helplessness that's behind that. So for me, I'm thinking, I just got to get my brain to at least work. But when I started doing this, I realized, why would I stop once I come back? And that one conversation, oh, I have a hardware problem. It's not a moral failing. There's something wrong in my brain, and it's not me trying or thinking or wanting. It's that the meat isn't working.
More Dry Heat after the break. You're watching Dry Heat with Mike Davis.
There are tons. A lot of the coaches or the performance trainers, they're following me on the podcast. They've read the books. Nick was an outlier because he was making coffee with butter in it for the entire team. In fact, in his book, and we had no financial deal. I didn't even know this. He just, in his book, I think 6 or 8 times he mentioned my work, and he was on all of the supplements that I formulated when he won the game. And he's public about this. I wouldn't say it otherwise. And wow, you look at guys like the Bryant brothers.
Yeah, it's
right?
from tennis.
Oh yeah, totally. You know, the best tennis, they're all over biohacking. I've had a lunch with them, and it's because it works. And if it works for these guys, if you have a stressful day at the office, it's not different. You both have stress. So what helps them recover is going to help you recover. And part of my mission is to take the things that most of us don't have access to, and then to make it so it's a monthly membership.
Right.
That's what Upgrade Labs is about.
And that's why I think you're a tremendous entrepreneur, because it's not just about money. It's not just about those surface level things. It's about improving the human existence, you know? And
oh yeah. If I wanted to make money, I would have just been like, go keto. And I would have been like a keto bro and just had that with you, or do intermittent fasting.
Right.
Like, guys, you actually are fasting wrong. So let me write a whole book. You don't make money writing books. It's a huge waste of time if it helps people. But here's a book about how to change your fasting. And if I was to be on one consistent method, I know as an entrepreneur that I'd build an empire around that. My empire is around human performance and longevity and consciousness, and it's not one company. And I didn't trademark biohacking as a term.
Really?
Because, oh yeah, I wanted it to be a new word. I wanted it to be a movement for humans. It's not my movement. I founded it. I lead it. It's a $16 billion industry, according to analysts today, because I didn't trademark it. And when I was running Bulletproof, we did about $750 million in lifetime revenue. That's an entrepreneurial win beyond belief. But it's a tiny drop in the bucket compared to all of the people working together on making humans more powerful, more grounded, happier. And that's why I do the biohacking conference. It's biohackingconference.com. We have hundreds of companies building these things that pro athletes use and healthy humans use, and they're not all expensive. This isn't for wealthy people. This is for all people. It's like, where's the manual for being human? That no one ever wrote one.
And you're a very gifted orator and just a performer.
You.
I mean, you've opened for Tony Robbins. You're really good at all that kind of stuff. May 2025 in Austin, there's going to be that great conference. It's interesting. What is a persistent kind of, if your superhero quality? What do you think it is from the one that has lasted and served you till now to when you were in Albuquerque as a young kid in a basement with mold? What is the same? What is the core trait or attribute that you really, if you had to distill your success into one trait or attribute, what would it be?
You're not going to like it. It's capacity for suffering. And if you see the interviews with Elon Musk, he talks about how being a CEO at a startup is like eating broken glass every day because all the problems come your way. You listen to the interviews with the founder of NVIDIA and said, if you could tell yourself, go back to when you were 19 and give yourself advice, what would it be? He says, don't do it. It's not worth the stress. So my superpower is kind of like Wolverine, like take the hits,
and regenerate.
And I've had to evolve so much. I mean, I've had some major celebrities try to take me down for financial reasons. I got removed from Bulletproof, the company I founded. And so I've gone through a lot. And I've had so many detractors, even though my work has helped millions of people. There's always the people who were giving bad advice, who get really angry, and then they resort to personal attacks. So I've had to really learn how to, suffer both physically from all the diseases I had, and then to learn how to actually take none of this as pain or suffering. So I love it. People come and they try and troll me, and I know now, oh, we're playing 7th grade bullying games. So I just respond, so's your mom. Right? I'm having so much fun at this point because I know the game. but it took me a lot of time to know the game.
Is there moments like that you reflect upon in middle school, high school, that still just like, inciting type of incidents that just cause you major heart strain and stress? Like, I'd love to know a one or two.
Well, one of my companies, one of the smallest ones, is called 40 Years of Zen.
Yeah, that looks really interesting.
And it's up in Seattle. And
there's these pods you can go in.
Yeah, they're pods, and we glue electrodes to your head, and we look at your brain and then show you what it's doing. So I've spent 6 months of my life with electrodes glued to my head. And each 5 days of 40 Years of Zen is the same as meditating for an hour a day for decades. And your brain, when you're done, has the same brain waves as a Zen monk. And in order to do all that sort of stuff, the main process, and this is the whole topic of my next book, it's if anything brings up an emotion like that, anything on earth triggers you, if you can be triggered, you're carrying a loaded gun. And it means you can be programmed. So every single thing that's ever been an inciting part of anywhere in my life, I've gone through and I've run this thing called the reset process on it. And I've let it go. So my operating system in the body no longer is reactive. It's not that I chose to be reactive. It's that my body was reacting and then I believed it. My body doesn't react anymore to that stuff. I'm at peace.
Dry Heat with Mike Davis will be right back.
Matching energy. I can see why you are so successful and have such a unique skill set, because just being in your presence and your orbit, I already feel a little bit more grounded and better. You have a very interesting, energy to you.
I wasn't joking when I said other people will resonate to you.
Yeah.
And that's a skill everyone can learn. And I'll tell you, when I was young and angry, people would resonate to me too. We all know that friend who can walk in a room and it's a downer. Heck, we're in Las Vegas. They have the people who have just nasty energy who will come and sit at the table when you're winning. That's a real thing casinos have. So you don't want to be that guy. You want to be the guy who sits there and is like, wow, I feel good.
Last thing, as if people are watching this right now, there's so many pictures out of you. I mean, and that's why every time I see you, it's like you keep looking better and better and more youthful and healthier than I saw you the last time. There's a lot of pictures of you out there. You got one with a Belgian waffle. There's like,
God, I was like 25 in that picture.
There's all these different pictures of you. If there's somebody out there right now who's doing really well, they're a good person, they have some trauma, they've done a lot of work to just not be a hurtful person to other people, but they're carrying a lot of stuff and they're grinding, they're working hard, they're successful in their lives. And maybe it's, maybe they're not working in, tech, maybe they're just an accountant or something, but they're out there, they're doing their thing, they're a good person, but they're dealing with these things. The same things, the way that you looked with that Belgian waffle, that's how they are. They're just in that state. What's the number one thing you can tell them right now that you wish you could tell yourself back then?
You're in charge of your own biology, and your biology controls your happiness and controls your stress. So if you tell yourself a story, I'm a successful person because I have a family and a car and a house or whatever else, those are not the measures of success. The measure of success is, do you like your life? Are you happy? And if you can say that, the majority of the time you're happy, you experience joy, you experience peace on a regular basis, and you recover. I know people who aren't financially successful who are really good at that, and they are happier people who I would consider more successful than a billionaire who's angry all the time and can't regulate his emotions. So success is about how you feel first, and all the trappings, anything over about $80,000, it won't raise your happiness. And there are studies of this. So success comes from being able to regulate yourself and being able to be kind because you chose to be kind.
More Dry Heat after the break.
Thank you so much. This is such a lovely experience to be able to talk with you in the flesh. Guys, heavily meditated, great title, by the way. Can't wait. Can't wait for that. We got to make sure we're checking out Danger Coffee. I'm going to get some from you. Can't wait to try that.
That's good.
Upgrade Labs. I'm going to have to where's the closest one to Vegas? Idaho? Is there one in Idaho I saw?
We've got Coeur d'Alene. We've got a couple in Utah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I got to go check
There'll be
it out.
one here. It's a franchise. People can go to ownandupgradelabs.com and you can become a business partner with me to do that.
Okay, see, that's great. And then the other thing, 40 years of Zen. A lot of the stuff we're going to see in Heavily Meditated with all that stuff is going to be syncing up with that as well. But you can always go check out Human Upgrade, Dave Asprey, father of biohacking. If you go to Merriam-Webster, if you met Merriam-Webster on the street and you asked her, hey, what's the definition of biohacking? She'd say, it's Dave Asprey. The father of biohacking. Dave, any last things you want to say?
Yeah. There's a quote that I think is relevant. It's the goal of life is not to accumulate power, but to radiate it. And it's, I just forgot who wrote that. Oh, it's on the edge of my brain. Should have taken more smart drugs. But the idea here is, you're going to show up this holiday season, right? And you can be the one who sits there and someone's going to say something unkind and you just radiate power, but not anger. Right? And they just realize, oh my God, it's not working. And you just take a little bit of amusement in watching them try to move your emotions and realizing, no, they're mine. And it's so much more fun to do a holiday that way, where you can watch someone try to trigger you with a sense of amusement instead of a sense of anger.
I love it. And you radiate so much power. It's such a pleasure to be here in the flesh with you. You got to make sure May 2025, go check him out in Austin for the Biohacking Conference. We also got this new great Biohack Yourself documentary that's going to be coming out. It's a whole series on Amazon Prime. We're going to get to see you on that. Dana White, who we love here in Las Vegas, as well as your boy, Dr. Amen, who's going to be a part of that as well, where this whole journey started for you as well. So a lot of great stuff to check out. There's always so many ways to be in touch with this person, but I think you got to go see him in person and see what it's this radiation of this radiation of power that you're providing. It really is a special thing to interact with in the flesh.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you so much for watching Dry Heat with Mike Davis. Go to our YouTube page, Silver State Sports, to hear our complete interviews.